and all these kind of things. So I'm super happy to see the Forge is finding his footing here, and you can see the Weibo are respecting him quite a lot here, with the Silas going to be banned away. GP banned from ZDZ again. Apparently the Shy just not feeling the Azir for game number 3.
No, apparently not, and maybe ZDZ not feeling the Ravenous Hydra build. Like, that was something interesting, and Dagda, I looked online, I think it was Dom who tweeted it out, the selling of the tier at 20 minutes, like that GP build was something else, and I know you were looking forward to it. We didn't get to talk about it much because of what happened in the game, but at the very least, we can kind of look back and analyze at some other point. For now, we get it banned away and we get a Viego first pick for SLFM. What a surprise.
Yeah, Senna or Kalista going to be the pick here for Betty. I imagine it'll probably be the Senna. I just hope that they hold off for a little bit on deciding exactly what they want to go for with Chocho, because I still think Enchanters can work so well with the Senna. And I imagine Lee Sin as well for Xiao Hao, as we just see it over there, will be the lock-in just as well against the Viego in the early stages and gives you a good amount of control. Okay, not going to be the case.
So what does well against Fiora, Dagda? We know the Shy plays almost anything. An early topside blind gives a couple options for Weibo Gaming.
I know that Jax can do relatively well into her because Jax has a lot of agency with the stun as to when he wants to try and use it. So Fiora has to try and then predict, and it becomes quite a bit of a skill matchup. But Jax able to provide a good amount in team fights, so maybe they want to go towards something like that. We just have to see exactly what the game plan is. Something like a Kale, honestly, could potentially work here as well, where just the invulnerability and you get the ability to scale could be an answer, but you have the ability. ZDZ should be able to chase down a Kale in the laning phase, so you got to be very careful taking a pick like that into it. Looks like the Shy would just go back towards the Gnar and try and play at range against this Fiora, at least in the early stages.
And Doug, do you know why he's doing that? Because after the win in game number 1, he then set his record at 33-13 on Gnar. The Shy historically has a now 72% win rate on Gnar after 46 games. So it kind of makes sense that this guy wants to prioritize the champion that right now a lot of teams are also looking at in the first couple of rotations.
I love this from Forge, though. Going towards the Swain, you're looking at not a very high damage composition coming through from Weibo. So Swain going to have a ton of opportunity to just scale into the mid game, probably go for the Imperial Mandate build, provide that front line we were talking about for anyone's legend that Forge likes to offer in these types of scenarios, while still giving some more engaged tools with the never move and those kind of things for anyone's legend. So I think just nice reactions here from anyone's legend to how the draft is going. But again, no AD carries locked in at all. So maybe we get the Kalista ban here. Anyone's legend trying to eye up something like a Senna, or they could try and just leave all of the AD carries open and try and get something for themselves off this first rotation that they're happy with.
Because what's another good reaction to the Twisted Fate here, Dagda? Weibo Gaming obviously want to pick apart one of the side lanes, depending on how the rest of the setup goes. And with all the bans towards bottom lane, I feel like it becomes very volatile.
I mean, Senna Tam Kench is just great. Like, Tam Kench gets to eat up the person that you go card. Senna is going to be able to provide a bunch of healing for the likes of Forge and Fiora. And with Grievous Wounds being nerfed by all the way down to 40%, you don't really get to take away a lot of that healing that this composition offers at the moment. So as you can see, Weibo responding with that Senna ban. But I'm curious to see what the plan is here for Betty and Chocho. Looks like the Ezreal just going to be taken here. So again, playing into that mid-game spike on the 4-man units of anyone's legend, which I think is going to work out super well. You don't really get the opportunity as Angel to try and play aggressive bot side because Betty has so much mobility built into the kit.
And gives a bit of extra range alongside the Swain. Nautilus picked up instead. They want to counter pick for AD carry. Dagda, I can't remember the last time we saw ADC last pick in, I was going to say this meta, in really any meta on red side. Like, counter AD is something I don't think we ever talk about.
Yeah, I think the worry there was if you go towards the Ezreal, Kai'Sa for Huanfeng, you got great backline setup with the Twisted Fate and then the Kai'Sa as well. So I think Betty was like, look, I'm still happy to go back towards a counter pick here just because I'm worried about what might come out. And honestly, with the Misfortune here, you have a decent amount of setup here with Betty. You know that there's no real Braum counter for the Misfortune, which works out great as well. Like across the board, I mean, this 4-man unit from Anyone's Legend looks great, and ZDZ will scale into this matchup against the Shy, so I'm kind of giving the edge across to Anyone's Legend, unless Angel can make a ton of these early plays with the Twisted Fate.
And to be fair, Angel has been great in the series. I think he's been probably the best player overall. Last game was trying to carry, but there was just something, no one really knows what, that brought them down, Dagda. And for Angel on this Twisted Fate, getting the maps moving, top bot, what do you want to see here? What makes the largest impact for Weibo Gaming with this Twisted Fate?
I think playing around the bot side is your best bet. And trying to get Wanfeng into a position where he's strong is going to be the thing that probably carries you the most. You can try and lock down ZDZ in the early stages, but I think the eventuality of this Fiora will come around regardless. Like, she doesn't need too much to be in menace in these side lanes. So I think definitely focusing on who's going to be in your main carry, which is Wanfeng, is your best opportunity. Otherwise, you do just run the risk, again, of level 6 being hit by the Misfortune. They play for early Dragons. They play for Rift Heralds. They're constantly finding these moments with the team fights, and you never really get the ball rolling. So I definitely want to see Angel hitting 6 quick and almost immediately porting down to that bot side to try and shut down the bottom lane for Anyone's Legend.
Well, it's going to be a hard ask because at the very least, relying on one person when Anyone's Legend might have a smoother time, Dagda. Gives me a lot of hope for this team that is 3-3. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to perform a ritual on you, on me, on Dagda, on all of you. We are going to cleanse our souls from game number 2. We are going to forget that it happened. We are going to move on, and we are going to feel the spirit of a game 3 with everything reset. We're going to pretend that On is a world champion, is an absolute legend, played like he did in game 2, like he did in game 1, and we're going to reset nicely. Now, Dagda, with this smooth transition in, he talked about destroying the bottom lane of Anyone's Legend, not letting them get off the ground. I like that because Betty and Chocho had a great game in game number 2, and I feel like if Angel's the one to stop that, again, the strongest member of Weibo Gaming throughout the series, and his Twisted Fate is a really old school pick that back on Suning, he was known for as his most played champ.
And I think this is where we could see Weibo again try and play really smart around this mid jungle. We saw it in game 1, where SOFM had that really nice gank onto Forge, but I will say that you're going to struggle a little bit here as Angel. Forge, because he's going to be, I think he's running the minion dematerializer, I have to check in just a moment, can push this lane relatively effectively, and that can play an issue for Angel, and especially if you try and play up here. Oh, he's actually not running the minion dematerializer, but for Xiaohao, you have good ability to gank this lane if Angel's trying to hard push it, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Xiaohao and Forge making some plays early.
Well, Forge on the Swain, that has been a pick that's really decreased in popularity in the LPL. It was played so much in 12.10, but, you know, Forge is one of the few that will still look to pick it up. We're looking at topside trading. And we're looking at ZDZ and the Shy just trying to find their tethering, trying to find their spacing. This is the top lane that has the most solo deaths in the Shy in the league. And ZDC's not close behind. We set that up at the start of the series, but we haven't seen so much action in both games, Dagda. It's been a little bit quiet for my liking, and it's been, I guess, a false one for this series alone.
It looks like it'll be a bit of a slow start, at least in the early levels as well. Xiaohao opting in towards full clear on bot side, so may look to try and contest the scuttle with Forge having pushed in the mid lane. But I imagine he's actually just going to go into his Raptors, back down towards this bot side, and go for the definitive side of the map that he actually has control on. Whereas when you look at SOFM, he has push, well, kind of push on top side, so we'll look to try and take the scuttle there. So I don't imagine that we're going to have too much action in the early stages. It's more so going to be like Betty trying to punish this bottom side of the map where he has control with Chocho, and ZDZ looking to just scale into the later portion of the game.
Getting his free tier stacks with Comet as well. Betty already doing that. He was able to push the turret quite nicely there with Wanfeng and On missing a couple of creeps, but it won't matter too much as Xiaohao gets spotted out onto the Scuttle Crab here as SOFM wants to take the trade with Angel moving fast, but Xiaohao over the wall. SOFM just keeps charging him down. On this Viego, he's not stopping. Sonic Wave going to be taken by Xiaohao, and the ward dropped to spot out where he is, but ZDZ pushed out in the wave, and SOFM now just going to threaten to give the Shy a bit of superiority.
Yeah, Xiaohao wants to hit 4 before he tries to go for the play up here, especially since the Shy just matched the level 4 of ZDZ, but not going to be able to get too much. Should be relatively okay. The Shy now, though, hitting Mega and having this push out will mean he gets a slow push. So nice job by SOFM to give control of the wave to the Shy in this instance.
He doesn't go for the all-in engage. For SOFM backing off, picks up a double longsword and starts heading towards the bottom lane. We talked about anyone's legend having control in this wave, but we also know that with the push out there, exposing Betty and Chocho, SOFM now going to be trying to find an angle as top side for anyone's legend for Xiaohao, not spotted out here with the brush gang.
Yeah. I'm looking at the bot side. I could see that Betty and Chocho had thought about going for Scuttle and River, but decided to back off. So now Xiaohao kind of aware that chances are you've got the SOFM clearing out SOFM clearing out the Scuttle, but isn't actually in a position to really go for that just yet. So going to be a bit of back and forth between the junglers, but again, there's no real inlets into lanes at the moment. They need to kind of just play this a little bit slower. I think anyone's legend, the big thing that they want to try and do is clear out this bot side for Xiaohao, maybe look for a potential gank off the lane bounce on bot side for Huanfeng, and then look to move in towards the Rift Tower, because this wave is actually pretty stacked here, and that's a nice ward there by Weibo to spot out Xiaohao and any sort of potential play he could make here.
They've had a couple of nice wards. It's spotted out the top gank. Now the clearing path as SOFM is going to pop his head in. Smite is available for Xiaohao, though. That makes it a hard steal as he just starts attacking away at the Lee Sin. Smite comes through. SOFM picking up level 5, though, as Xiaohao gets his boys in. But here's Angel. A good dodge from SOFM as Chocho not getting the dredge line. The flash over from Forge. SOFM hits his own as the Never Move brings back on. But now that he's in the choke as the Alistar, he's in a great spot to set up for Huanfeng, who gets a 4-man Infernum with Gravitum coming through. No one's supporting him. They're leaving him to die. Angel's out of matter. SOFM out of options. And on out of health. It looked close, but anyone's legends stay true.
SOFM starting game 2 as he wanted to continue in game 3, apparently. The play from anyone's legend was already there. They had the bot movement first. Xiaohao wins out in the early skirmishes, especially when he's able to smite the Gromp to give him a ton of health back, give him a ton of extra... SOFM actually. Is he caught again?
Yeah, might be caught out. The Demon Flare, Never Move dodge, but I think the Hand of Death is about to connect as Forge already burned the flash, but he moves into range just like that. Smites him down. SOFM now getting crossed.
I mean, SOFM's completely out of this game now. I mean, he's already been set behind, relatively speaking, off that initial play. Now you end up having a position where Forge is now getting kills as well. And this is just silly. Like, you know you have no smite. So actually, I think SOFM, to give him his due, may have actually gotten the Gromp there. But you still don't end up winning out. This is why you pick Lee Sin into the Viego, because Lee Sin wins the initial matchup. And this could have gone so much worse. Like, SOFM could have got caught by Forge there. Chocho here as well gets a really nice engage. Great shot by Betty to send Chocho over the wall so he's the instant stop. But the Q misses onto On, so On would have been dead in this situation. Huanfeng would have died as well. And with both those dead, that would have been an absolute disaster for Weibo. The fact that they're only 2 kills down is kind of lucky, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the gold is even after the disaster that's happened in the jungle. SOFM still has a lead, but as you said, the game does feel a little bit moot from him now that Forge picked up the kill, now that his jungle clear has been slowed down. And with Weibo Gaming sacrificing a couple of kills in the early game, I really hope we're not revisiting what Game 2 was, as the Shy going to get slowed down, but ZDZ's already used the Grand Challenge. So kill threat goes down significantly as the Shy nowhere near Mega Gnar either. Cameraman keeps liking to look at the top lane because he knows the stats, he knows what's going on, but they don't have TP, and Dagda, Dragon's still up and sitting there.
And now people are dead.
Angel's caught out. Red line connects with the gold card. He flashes away. Angel in a bad position, but Chocho even worse, who flashes himself as Forge with the Never Move. Not connecting here. The Demon Flare at the ready is it's popped a little bit early, but he had to get out and knew it wouldn't connect on anyone else. Weibo Gaming now might have a second chance towards the Dragon, but it seems like they just want a response kill after the play.
I mean, Rift Herald is up and available, so maybe they're just looking at that. Xiaohao as well hasn't quite got control of his jungle enough to hit level 6, but will be able to hit it as he clears out these Raptors as they spawn on the top side. Betty as well hitting 6 on bot lane with no real push, so I don't know if Weibo can just go for Rift Herald. Even with Chocho moving the direction that he is, he should be able to support Xiaohao, so I imagine you're going to have to take a step back here as Weibo, which gives the opportunities you can see for Betty to start roaming up towards this objective, whereas Huanfeng has gone bot lane. SOFM as always, just looks like he's starting up the Rift Herald, which is not the right call right now.
Follow me, he says. SOFM will do it, and everyone will be forced to come as Angel does have the Destiny, but no summoners available, and a stopwatch that's not yet available either. So if he goes in, he has to find a way out, as Forge is definitely the stronger member. And on the Herald, SOFM caught out with his pants down, dredge line down. Dagda,
I, for one, am shocked.
Oh
I
my
could not
God.
see that SOFM was going to die on that
Pikachu.
play. Oh my God. This is incredible.
Oh my God! Well, we've definitely come downhill from game 1.
Yeah, the sanity of me is not going so hot right now. I'm just gonna say it, hysterics. Betty getting back down to the bot side though. The thing is, you do get a good amount of turf plates here for Huanfeng. Like, I thought that would be the trade here, where SOFM just backs off. Like, look at the minimap as we come into this. Like, Huanfeng is in a perfect spot, red, white guns in the bot lane. He can take turf plates galore. But SOFM, like, how telegraphed do you need this to be? Xiaohu couldn't have done that ward hop any slower if he tried. And you have ultimate available for SOFM. Like, oh, I don't want to say it, but Jesus, yeah.
Well, hey, this year, maybe Europe's got a shot, Dagda. Maybe LCK's got another shot. I don't know. If it's Weibo we're sending, then a lot of people are going to be looking at this like, is this LPL? But, you know, at the moment, they're not sitting too pretty in the standings. They're 4-3. And anyone's Legend, they pick up the win here. They overtake them. Anyone's Legend feels like the team right now that deserves to be in the top 6 of the standings. They have been performing so well in the last couple of games, and as Xiaohu with the Rift Herald wants to continue with this improvement, I feel like we're going to go down a rabbit hole, Dagda. I'll save us because that's my job at this point.
All right,
to make sure
I'm going to
we
bring
don't
it
fall
back.
the
I'm going to
same
bring
thing.
it back. Let's
You
look
can
at
do it, you
positives,
can do it.
right? From Weibo's perspective, you actually do have a gold lead because you've got big CS advantage on the bot side, big CS advantage on the top, turret plates galore being taken on both sides, and that's your winning matchups for Weibo. The problem that I'm seeing is that as anyone as a Legend starts to group up, like at this Dragon, that's where you can cause issues.
Ulti from the Shy. Grand Challenge used. For once, the Shy's not the one dying. Is a bit of a surprise. He continues to push up here. And Dagda, you know, Dragon coming up, and I know you were making a point before you were so rudely interrupted.
That's all good. I was just thinking that if you ever try to contest anyone's Legend at the moment, you're going to find a pretty bad time as Weibo. Huanfeng just isn't quite strong enough, even though he has hit his Mythic first. The Shy, you can see that top lane matchup is going to start turning around. TP from ZDZ back top. I don't know if you can dive this.
Yeah, has flash available as well. And ZDZ now with the Iron Spike whip, so depends on the Shy's poke, but SOFM backs away yet again. ZDZ is going to be safe because the bottom side, there's the trade. SOFM makes the back to respond, but anyone's Legend Dagda, they've got the play. He's going to be super late to this, and they're not diving any further. They're just looking for more poke.
Forge is roaming as well, so this is still a numbers advantage for anyone's Legend. On trying to play bouncer here, and will dissuade anyone's Legend from going for the full tower, but still you can see that gold starting to even up now thanks to that help. And again, you just got to try and find ways for Angel to start making plays, but he has no help in mid lane because of SOFM kind of throwing things around the place and throwing his toys out of the pram. And if you try to make plays down towards the bot side, I don't know if you can really find those windows because of how much Forge has control over this mid lane with the push that he has.
And let's come back to what you just said about mid, because with Forge having the push in mid, I think importantly enough, as we look at the ward in the bottom lane, okay, backing on his ward, what happened? Is this how Betty burnt his flash? Yes, he did. Good reaction time there from the AD carry of anyone's Legend. But Dagda, I want to bring it back to the point you just highlighted. Angel's ultis this game have been few and far between. I'm not even sure if we've seen one. But at the very least, you know, when Twisted Fate doesn't get an ultimate out, especially in the early stages of the lane, it feels so bad when your team just has a tool that isn't being used as well as it could be.
Oh, ZDZ looking for the all-in.
Maybe I have shot myself in the foot. Here comes Destiny. Great timing. I'm just glad to cast a curse at this point. And as Ignite goes down, ZDZ still going to survive. Thank you for the safeguard from Xiaohu. He screams. As bullet time in the bottom lane. Huanfeng has to Gale Force out, luckily with no summoner. But, you know, at least Destiny was used to force out one in the top side.
Yeah, I mean, it won't really amount to anything here. Still, you have that nice CS lead for the Shy, who has just been dominant in this matchup regardless of the game. Like, he has had these big CS leads, but trying to convert it has been the big issue for Weibo. Now, on the Gnar, maybe the Shy can have a better time like we saw in Game 1, but it looks like potentially Xiaohao looking to try and turn that around. He is hovering around this top side, but was spotted on a ward, so just going to back away.
40 CS up in that top side, in fact. And further to it, the Shy now level 11, ZDZ getting challenged himself a little bit in this top side, and a Trinity Force is now being picked up by the Shy. As we look towards the bottom lane, there's the engage from Huanfeng and on, but the depth charge, flash from Chocho, is hoping for that ulti as Huanfeng flashes into melee range, but it's against the Misfortune with Eclipse. I mean, I feel like Weibo are all just falling apart with their comms right now, Dagda.
The engage not hitting onto Betty means you never get to win that. Betty was just perfectly happy to sit there, didn't even need the bullet time. It was just like, oh, I can actually just damage you throughout this and win regardless. So, yeah, weird engage from On, and Huanfeng ends up paying the price because you just instantly turn around with the depth charge.
Angel might do the same again. He has a stopwatch. Kickback from Xiaohao, smooth as anything. As Angel gets the gold card to buy time, but Forge still forward. The Demon Flare now ready and available as SOFM has dragged himself in to save his mid laner, but still they're pretty strong as Xiaohao gets a bit of healing up, but should be going down here. SOFM with his first reset of the game, and Weibo Gaming feeling a little bit action intensive here as Forge just run out of mana, run out of hope, and Weibo Gaming finally set a play right, Dagda.
Well, let's see what ZDZ can do here, though. The Shy gonna hug the wall.
Against the wall, he's trying. Boomerang, throw the flash! Oh, the Shy! When everyone else looks questionable, he returns in good form as the solo bolo on the top side. SOFM now looking for the chain. Chocho's out of there. Weibo Gaming have woken up from their nap.
It's a disaster for anyone's legend on every single play. Xiaohao tries to make this play in mid, but as we watch the replay, keep your eyes on the Sonic Wave as it goes through. And the Shy as well, being able to get that kill is spectacular, but watch here. So, great play by Xiaohao to get the kick, but the Q hits the minion that moves over to try and aggro onto Forge, so no Sonic Wave to follow the flash. SOFM is in a great spot here, and Angel as well, just being able to keep that distance with on the roam to be able to follow up. This could have been so different if that initial kill had gone across, but Angel consistently been able to find the CC to prevent any sort of quick follow-up as you talked about Forge running out of mana. And here, ZDZ just not being able to proc the ultimate. Like, tries to go for the all-in here, narrows into the wall, so doesn't actually get to get the riposte off, and then just needs one more of these vital procs, but isn't able to get it, and the flash away from the Shy just means it's completely over.
The flash away, the fade away. 1-0 in that top lane. ZDZ getting smashed a bit here, and it was always like that in the game as Dragon goes over to Weibo Gaming. On's angle really good as well, but doesn't take it, doesn't make it over the wall. Now the Shy's joined in with a Mega Gnar. This game gets a little bit more interesting, Dagda. I'm feeling it a bit more now with a 3k gold lead. You know, anyone's legend, they were challenging the game early on, but Weibo Gaming never really lost out in the gold trade. And it does feel important to mention that after that breath of life, I think this series now has the potential to end in a much better light.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Weibo try to use the advantage that they have. You've Turk on top, potential for Angel to try and take the bot side, but the most important thing is see how Angel gets the move now. Because Weibo have tempo advantage, you get to choose how you want to try and take these fights. I wouldn't be surprised the Angel kind of destiny on towards this topside play, but Forge does have TP and could also look to join.
But Angel's still far a bit away as he continues walking up. I mean, Forge himself, you mentioned the TP, Dagda, good call here. Starts walking up, Chocho with the dredge line missing array. The Destiny finally coming through, on with an angle and separates anyone's legend as Chocho gets a knock up, but it's a bounce house for them instead as the ulti from Huanfeng misses. Evfrost from Angel's good, a lot of crowd control, but Forge is hitting everyone here. A bit of disengage as the Shy is trying to do the heavy lifting right now, and Huanfeng's finally doing some damage himself. Now onto ZDZ, the slow lands. Angel's here with the gold card, timing it out. The Shy is going to clean him up, and Weibo Gaming, it looks like they've risen.
Betty's positioning meant that he couldn't get the ultimate off into the right angle, so Weibo Gaming just able to continue to free hit, and the auto attacks from Huanfeng doing so much more alongside the Shy in these fights. And now you get turrets number 2 in the top side, another turret gone in mid lane, and Weibo are extending this gold lead so quickly.
They really are. 7,000 just about at 19 minutes in the game. It started with SOFM being a little bit like Game 2, Dagda, but it's rounded out, picking apart anyone's legend.
Look at Betty here, though. Doesn't get access to set up with the ultimate here because of where Angel's positioned, then gets locked up in the CC. Even SOFM, when he changes over to the Nautilus, is on towards Betty. So the ultimate, the big ultimate that should be providing the majority of the damage in these fights, just whiffs completely. And from that point forward, anyone's legend just don't have enough in the tank to carry forward. As we said, like, Forge can deal some damage, but is more of a frontline bruiser with the build that he's gone. And when anyone's legend not having anything to actually carry the team fight damage, lose out.
Well, it's a shame because their setup before has been pretty pristine, but a couple of mistakes now. And Weibo Gaming just take charge. As you were saying, such a fast adaptation to that gold lead. As we approach 20 minutes as well, that gold lead turns into items, and 2.5 here on the Shy with the chain vest in hand too. Chempunk Chainsword has been pretty popular here in the LPL, especially on 80 carries. On's going to be reeled in a bit, but can't do too much. Headbutts Forge, and that's the trade. But Dagda also rapid fire cannon nice and early here for Angel, who is now a very large threat when Betty doesn't have cleanse. Like, here's Destiny again, and as he pops it, gold card at the ready. Good dodge from Chocho. And look at this. Bullet time finally lining through. On has to flash over. But Angel's repositioning might be perfect as the Shy is once again in position. A 2-man ulti. He's dealing with the team, but no one's supporting him for now. The Shy dies. And anyone's legend regain control as SOFM's ulti. What was that? Doesn't go towards anything, just to the side. And Weibo Gaming do lose more members. And anyone's legend show a fight is still possible.
I mean, Weibo engage on the wrong target at the wrong time, and anyone's legend punish. A minute now until Dragon means that anyone's legend would get to quickly correct their waves and maybe contest on towards this next Dragon in a minute's time. But watch here, like, Forge is the tank on anyone's legend squad right now. So engaging onto that is not the best option. And watch ZDZ at the bottom of this fight. Gets directly on towards Huanfeng as you get that big ultimate coming through from the Misfortune. But while the Shy is trying to deal with everyone on anyone's legend, ZDZ is buying so much time on the backside, keeping Huanfeng busy. So the extra members that exist for anyone's legend in this fight now get to move back, deal with the Shy, and win out on the fight. 30 seconds now until the Dragon. We need to see essentially the exact same again. If Betty can set up with a good ultimate, and if ZDZ will have as much of a good flank to threaten the backline.
But the problem is Chocho doesn't have his for another 20 or so seconds. So for anyone's legend, I guess it will line up with the Dragon Dagda, but still something to consider. Xiao Hao, kick flash onto Huanfeng. He flashes immediately though. The bullet time getting his max range, but the Lee Sin now caught out, and Huanfeng lives to see another day. With SOFM coming in and the Shy once again ulting in, but this time he's got his boys. However, no, he doesn't. They're all leaving again. Weibo Gaming running for their lives as anyone's legend Forge is taking names on this Swain. I mean, a messy fight once more, Dagda, and I just don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah, the Riley Scepter doing work there for Forge to keep the Shy in check, keep SOFM in harm's way. And anyone's legend now turn over towards the Dragon. It's not only the fact that they're winning these fights, there's actually objective bounties for them as well. So this is pretty key now for anyone's legend to start getting more of that gold back in their favor and continue winning out in these fights. And this is what we're talking about. Anyone's legend's team fight is actually stronger than Weibo's, because Angel is kind of just working as a CC bot, but he's not getting on towards key people like Betty, even ZDZ as well, having that riposte to keep it interesting. But here, I mean, great play from Xiao Hao. Just unfortunate that the hook from Chocho not quite quick enough, and then you get the lockup that can come down. But Huanfeng is out of the fight here. So when you end up with this engage coming through from the Shy, who actually follows up? Like, Forge gets the ultimate off right before the engage comes through. So he ends up getting the Imperial Mandate procs off onto several members of Weibo, and anyone's legend are just have to chase them down then.
So you raised a good point, Dagda. The team fighting of anyone's legend seems to be so much better, and with the catch-up gold from the win in the fight on the Dragon, of course, now only 5,000 gold separates the difference. I do not read Chinese that well. However, I feel like it's saying that objective bounties are now disappearing, and I'll be right.
Yeah.
Because Anyone's Legend have got a couple of dragons. We know that the system calculates it by that as well, but they are within a chance in this game. And Dagda, is it just the picks of Weibo Gaming that need to improve? Like, should they be taking these all-out 5v5s? Is that the issue?
They need to be playing through side lanes. Like, the Shy is pretty big, but unfortunately at this stage, I think with the gold that's come across into ZDZ in a long extended lane, I think ZDZ just chases down the Shy and kills them. So they need Angel to try and abuse the fact that he has the Destiny over Forge's TP, but Weibo are starting up the Baron as ZDZ will have TP in just a moment.
Time for you to draw some circles, Dagda. Where is the Baron? For anyone who's new to the game, it's going to be on the top side as Angel has an angle. And really, no pun intended, is on the Baron. Xiaohao, they want a 50-50. Destiny's going to be using the backside. On with the disengage. It's early, though. As he gets back in the pit, he steals it. On so early. SOFM dead. And their team fighting again. Oh, my God, Dagda. Anyone's Legend are absolute legends again.
I mean, great vibe from Anyone's Legend, just calling the bluff of Weibo. Hey, we're going to be able to TP in. Even the steal coming through from Xiaohao on the Baron. And again, great ultimate coming across from Betty to destroy anyone who's left in the pit. Now Weibo, 3 members dead, maybe 4 does Angel force the flash.
All summoners bar SOFMs are down. Anyone's Legend have ZDZ in the side lane as well. Dagda, he's hit that point where he's got a bit of freedom, and with a close 2 item on the way, that Fiora also a scary member as Anyone's Legend gets so much gold in their back pocket, practically even now. As the game hits the 25-minute mark, and I don't know what to say. We get the fight again. Dagda, you're going to look at a replay, and I need you to tell me what you think, because On goes out early, and I am a little bit tilted, but I don't know if it's just...
Look, positivity. We're here to spread positivity and love
Well,
and
then help me.
happiness. Yeah, so I am very happy that Weibo started this Baron up, because as an Anyone Legend fan, this is great for them. Great ults coming across, as you can see from Misfortune, getting everyone super low. Angel can't really offer anything in these fights, as we already pointed out, not able to do too much. And just the sheer amount of damage and engage and AoE that's coming off of Anyone's Legend absolutely destroys them in the pit. Gold back to even. A minute and a half until the next dragon. Anyone's Legend setting up in the bot side jungle of Weibo just in time for that as well. And maybe even getting the Shy here. Shy just widen the Sonic Wave.
Yeah, the Shy walks up. I think it was more so for the Krugs rather than seeing Xiaohao, but nevertheless not getting tagged here. With the Baron team that continues their pursuit, and over the wall, Chocho will find himself and On with a defensive engage, but he'll be slowed down, locked up. Unbreakable Will's there. Why On decided to go in there, I just don't know, Dagda. We're back to question marks, and Anyone's Legend now have a free shot of the base. It's a 5 versus 4.
I mean, I don't even know if you question mark at this stage. I mean, I think save your hand muscles, they're probably more valuable as Anyone's Legend starts to move in the bottom side of the base. This is it. I mean, they could potentially just look for the end right here, but it looks like they're instead just going to take it nice and slow, move back in to collect that wave in mid, and see if they can crack open more turrets.
Dude, I don't know. I really don't know how... God. All right, well, now we got 30 seconds till Dragon. I have to keep going as the Shy is now into a Mega Knight. Anyone's Legend still pursuing this mid lane turret. On is now back and alive. He has the ability to go again as SOFM finds a pick onto Forge. But remember, he's tanking up On with a good engage, but that just sets up for Weibo Gaming to be picked, and he's gonna die again! He just respawned. He baits them in. That was tragic. That was rubbish, Dagda. That was just... Oh my God! Why? Why, Dagda?
Weibo must die so Anyone's Legend can fly. We need them in the top 6, Hysterics. We need to keep this ball rolling.
Anyone's Legend, they want top 6. They deserve to be here as they take down another Nexus turret. SOFM backs against the wall. Wanfong the same. I'll apologize to everyone who listened to me casting that, but that was a difficult series to watch.
I mean, Anyone's Legend do end up taking the victory here. You can see Chocho very happy with that one. But